let's talk about the Raptors. We both have them at 6. I'm kind of surprised we agree on them, even though we're both
Yeah,
Raptors fans. Feels
yeah.
like I'm usually a little higher on them than you.
hmm
Why do you have the Raptors falling from the 2nd seed to the 6th seed this year?
Yeah, it's the biggest fall in like all of our playoff predictions essentially. And the reason for that is health. Like Kyle Lowry's he's an old guy. People like don't recognize that he how old he is. Fred VanVleet was pretty banged up last season. Norman Powell was pretty banged up last season. So that's three of your top four scorers who had injury issues last season. And then you lose a Serge Ibaka, you lose a Marc Gasol. Like if you get the same injury bug of last year, a 6 seed is realistic. And the only that's why I have them at 6 because I think you have to assume similar injuries happen because it's been happening their whole careers. These players have been repeatedly injured, and I think that 6 seed, if they're injured, 6 seed, and if they're fully healthy though for the whole 72 games, we could be talking about a 2 seeded Raptors again. It's just injuries. You have to factor them in. We factor them with the other teams. It would be
Yeah,
unfair if we didn't for the Raptors.
definitely, you cannot assume no injuries, and I think the loss of Gasol and Ibaka is huge, but
hmm
not just simply on paper. It's huge because, like you said, Raptors are constantly going down with injuries. There's all like I can probably count on one hand the number of times last regular season that they played with their full lineup.
Yeah,
And let's say Aaron Baines goes down. Am I comfortable with Alex Len just starting 6 straight games,
yeah,
six or 8 straight games at center? No, I'm not. Like I like Alex Len could come in for 10, 15 minutes a game, give you something good. Same with Boucher. But am I comfortable with them playing real minutes and relying on them for real production? Probably not. I think assuming health, like you said, I think they can be almost the exact same team this year than they were last year. I think getting into the playoffs, not having Gasol and Ibaka is probably a little bit of a different story. But at least in the regular season, I think they can probably be as high as a 2 seed. And I think that Siakam has caught a lot of hate, especially from us, and
yeah.
his struggles in the bubble were real. But I think they're getting a little bit overrated now, just a little bit. That was such a weird
hmm
situation for everyone,
Yeah,
like we've talked about.
yeah,
He didn't have access to a basketball court for 3 months somehow,
yeah,
apparently, over quarantine. The mental health aspect of it, just not being able to get those reps in, was obviously hard for everyone. And I'm expecting him to have a bounce back year. I'm expecting him to be as good as last year, if not better, at least in the regular season. And he's been really, in his interview so far, he's been really open about, he's admitted that he was terrible and that
hmm
he knows what he needs to do. He's been working with Rico Hines again, like he does every summer, and I'm expecting him to have a really big year.
yeah. And Aaron Baines, someone we usually don't mention because like you just expect him to do his job. If he misses time, which he did miss a lot of time last season,
Yeah,
we're talking about Chris Boucher starting or Alex Len
exactly.
starting.
Yeah.
And if one of those guys starts, our bench is gonna get even worse. So like it's tough. It's tough. Like this Raptors team, fully healthy, they could beat anyone in the league.
hmm
But a couple injuries, and it's gonna be tough for them to be competitive and really
Yeah.
be up to the standard they were for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And man, for me, just Kyle Lowry's age, like
hmm
when you're an older point guard, I'm gonna not rate your team as high. Kyle Lowry, like even though he's one of my favorite players of all times, he is 35. He's gonna get he's gonna get banged up this season the way he plays. And if he gets hurt and we have to move Fred VanVleet to the one and Norman Powell into the two,
hmm
we just have no bench and it'll be tough. It'll be tough to really win games like that when you have no bench. And it's gonna be they have a really good coach though. So even at the 6 seed, still being one of the hardest teams to take out in the playoffs and still being maybe even a
Yeah.
second round team. Just because they have a low seed doesn't mean I'm thinking they're a first round exit.
No, for sure. And the Raptors had an amazing record last year, but the way they won those games compared to Milwaukee probably couldn't have been more different.
Yeah,
34-year-old Kyle Lowry was playing like 42 minutes a game. He
yeah,
was he I For a long part of the season, him and Fred VanVleet were averaging the most minutes in the league.
yeah,
I don't think that can happen again with 30 almost 35-year-old Kyle Lowry.
yeah.
I don't think that can happen. Like you said, VanVleet was banged up. They don't have a ton of depth like
This
at
year.
at that position this year, just in general this year. So
hmm
injuries are definitely going to be a huge factor. I think I think OG Anunoby and Chris Boucher could, like, they're both going to be in roles that they've never really had before. OG's not going to be the second option. He's probably not even going to be the third option.
Probably
That
the
probably
fourth.
goes probably fourth, but that's still a bigger offensive role than he's ever had. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see if he can level up, and that can kind of raise the ceiling of this team. And also Boucher. Boucher, when he comes in for 20 minutes and plays garbage time, he's looked awesome. But can he actually play 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes a night against good teams and give you real production? I'm not sure. If that can happen, maybe this team is deeper than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah. The Raptors always surprise people. We had them at like 4 last season. They went to 2.
Yeah.
Some analysts had them at not even making the playoffs.
Yeah.
No. They're the second seed. So we hope we're wrong. We hope they stay healthy. We hope they get the second seed. This is kind of a pessimistic opinion. Like, worst case scenario, they get the 6th seed. The Raptors are going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a hard out. I could see them winning 1, maybe 2 series. And they're going to be a really competitive team. And if they get Giannis, they're contenders.
What if they get James Harden, though?
Oof, that'll be interesting, too.
Thanks for watching. Listen to the Stretch the Floor podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram.